So this is a concept that I've had in my mind for a while, and I'm recording this on Mac Miller's birthday. So before I get started, I just want to say RIP Mac Miller and happy birthday. We love you and we miss you. Mac Miller would have been 33 today, but unfortunately, we all know what had happened to him in 2018.
Okay, I went to sleep famous and I woke up invisible. Rich fucking miserable. At least I did Kimmel and Arsenio.
I've been listening to Balloonerism the last few days, and it made me realize why we love Mac so much within the culture. Mac didn't push the culture away. Mac tried to push the culture forward. Unlike many white rappers that come into hip hop, and when things start getting a little stale for them, or when people call them out, they start to kick hip hop's back in. Mac is my favorite white boy rapper, and honestly, one of my favorite rappers of all time. I love Mac and I love what he stands for. If you see Mac at the beginning of his career to where he ended off, you know the transition and how he grew within hip hop and how he got better and better, and he embraced hip hop more and more. He started embracing people like Thundercats and Schoolboy Q and Ab Soul and Kendrick, and he started to play with funk and jazz, and he started to really get in his bag before his death. And this Balloonerism album makes me remember how vulnerable he was. You know, my biggest qualm with the Post Malone, with the Kid Rock, with the MGK, and all of these guys that come in hip hop is that on their way out, they try to kick hip hop's back in.
He was just like a super duper hip hop head, loved the culture. Like he was everything that Post Malone isn't.
Post Malone was famous for this. He said that hip hop isn't deep and is not about deepness. It's about money, party, and girls. You can't really, there's no emotion in it.
It was a beer tasting interview, so they put a lot of beer in my face and asked me what kind of beer tastes good to me. So, you know, knowing me, I drank it. Apparently, I said that whenever you want to feel something, don't listen to hip hop. And it's funny because who the am I to tell you don't listen to this, and whenever you want to feel something, don't listen to this? Or who am I to tell you that you should feel a certain way when listening to something?
The crazy thing about that is Mac Miller was that emotion he was talking about.
What I was saying was that when I want to sit down and cry, I listen to Bob Dylan and his guitar. You know, a lot of people saying that I don't appreciate hip hop or I'm taking advantage of hip hop. You know, what I was trying to say is that a lot of people, except for a handful of artists, saying the same shit. They're not saying anything super meaningful.
Stop the cap.
It's crazy the difference. If you look at Post Malone before he was famous,
Whether they know he used to sit and wonder why be.
And you look at Mac Miller before he was famous,
Beat me, homie, better know your lane. You got a bigger chance winning if you throw the game. Paper numb, cause my pen filled with no cocaine.
you know who really was entrenched in the culture. We all got a friend like Mac Miller. We all got a white boy friend that's like Mac Miller that loves hip hop and probably knows more about hip hop and certain artists than you do because they love the culture and they want to be embraced by it. They want to show and prove that they're not just an outsider trying to capitalize on it.
He paid homage to the culture and he respected the culture and he loved the culture. You know what I mean? And that's I salute Mac forever. That was a tremendous loss because that was somebody I really knew.
I say this a lot of times within this channel. Being a culture vulture is not mutually exclusive to being white, and Mac Miller proved that. On the Control verse, Mac Miller was the thing that rhymed with nigga.
Drake, Big Sean, Jay Electron, Tyler, Mac Miller. I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you niggas.
Mac Miller was seen to be one of us.
Diddy grades all the ACTs and they tell you it's a machine, but it's really just Diddy in the red pen. I heard that Diddy gives Obama shape-ups. I heard that Diddy played Tupac in Notorious.
And when I listen to Balloonerism, it reminds me so much of how he tried to dig deep and tried to express himself with no care about how people thought about him. And even though I have a video about Balloonerism coming soon, it made me understand why we embrace Mac Miller so much. People like Post Malone, Kid Rock, Jelly Roll, MGK, you can kind of tell their intentions. And people like Post Malone, you kind of can't stand them because I think Post Malone blamed us for blamed hip hop culture and black people for his depression because
He was called a culture vulture. How did that feel to you?
It sucked. I was a kid.
1920. How did you deal with it?
Drink a lot.
We called them out because we knew when we saw the White Iverson, we knew we was going to see this version of him, we can tell he was using the culture to get where he wanted to. And instead of being honest about it and open about it and expressing that in songs, he weaponized his tears. Oh, I was depressed. I started drinking. I started doing all this because people called you out for what you were going to do. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with, you know, transitioning to other genres. But Post Malone, at every opportunity he could, he tried to disrespect hip hop. How can you say there's no emotion and there's no, you know, feeling within hip hop when there is an artist like Mac Miller, there is an artist like J. Cole, there is an artist like Andre 3000, there is an artist like Kendrick Lamar, there is an artist like Absol who you can hear in their music their struggles with addiction and their struggles with poverty and the things that they're going through. Guys like Post Malone deserve all that they get from the culture.
I'm not a fan of Post Malone. I have no respect for him. I think he is the definition of a culture vulture. Get him! You know, he came in as Mr. Cornrow's fronts and trap beats. Get him! Called himself White Iverson. Named himself after Karl Malone. Get him! Then he started dissing hip-hop while still selling it. Get him! Got caught saying the N-word. Called Charlemagne the God a racist. Get him!
Oh, Green Jimmy the cricket suit wearing ass motherfucker. Get him! Oh, short Colin Powell.
We're looking at Jack Harlow the same way. We're looking at him like, hold on, bro. What's your transition? Because he's from Kentucky, right? I'm pretty sure he grew up listening to a lot of country music, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just about how you go about it. Mac Miller was totally embraced by the culture because he looked to push the genre forward and not push the genre away, man. I love Mac. I am deeply saddened that he is not here with us. Go stream Balloonerism because I think it's amazing. And, you know, I think Mac was one of those ones, man. It hurts my heart that he isn't here today, but there is a clear reason why we embrace Mac and why we push Post Malone away. And I think that the Post Malones of the world should understand that Mac got better. Mac got more funky, more soulful, more... You know, he had a transition to where he was doing the frat rap. He was doing what was expected of him. And then he said no and switched. And once I heard watching movies with the sound off, Faces, Good AM, I can hear him changing.
When you up above the clouds, like, who gon' touch me now? Do we ever get to know the truth?
And him getting more introspective and getting deeper. And he had a message. And, you know, his struggles with addiction ultimately ended up being his demise. And, you know, I love the guy. I love what he had to offer. He's my favorite white rapper. I even think a little bit of Eminem got a little bit, you know, he became a caricature of himself, and I gravitate towards more Mac Miller. He could really rap his behind off. He had Loaded Lux on an album.
You was easy Mac with the cheesy raps. Who the is Mac Miller? This name says crack Dylan.
I just told him to diss me, but not only did he diss me, but he like followed the theme, like the story of the album, and he hadn't heard anything. I freaked out when I heard it though, definitely. I was like, then it came on, I was like, oh.
I love that. He was rapping with Jay Electronica and Action Bronson. I think one of Chief Keef's best verses is on Mac Miller's album. I just love the kid, and there's a clear difference of why we embrace him and why we push Post Malone's away.
And the real enemy, if we are well-meaning white commentators and viewers of hip-hop music, the real enemy is not Kanye, it's not Drake. It's time to face the real enemy. It's Post Malone.
Post Malone, real enemy. He cooking.
Man, Post Malone, icky, yucky. I really, I knew Post Malone was going to do that, and I never was a fan. I always looked at him funny, him and Iggy.
Who is this? Yeah, I'm his no bitch.
John in Tennessee, go ahead. What you want to say?
That shit is fucking trash.
I just knew what it was. You can just smell it on them. And if they were honest, we would embrace you. The black culture and hip hop culture is very forgiving. If you're honest with us, hey, we'll let you get some money with us, but don't kick our back in on the way out, especially when some of your biggest songs is because of other artists. Rockstar was written by Joey Badass.
And it's like I just kind of came up with this melody. I'm in with my shot time.
The Sunflower song, the best parts of it is Sway Lee. There is a difference between the Mac Millers of the world. Even Eminem has never, you know, he's kind of been like, you know, a cultural critic within his music, and it's getting even worse now to where sometimes it's like, all right, dog, how old are you, bro? Like, all right, man, let me hear some deep, you know what I'm saying? Let me get deeper than that. But like I said, being a culture vulture is not mutually exclusive to being White. We love Mac Miller. We embrace him. I got his shoes back here. I can't believe I won these on his website when they came out. The swimming 5th year anniversary Vans. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I won these. Bought all his albums day one. Recently, my wife bought me the Tiny Desk. She bought me the vinyl for this. Before Scarface did his Tiny Desk, this was the best Tiny Desk of all time.
And sometimes, I wish I took a simpler route. Instead of having demons that's as big as my house.
And I kind of still believe it's still the best Tiny Desk, but he is in the top 2 for Tiny Desk performances. So shout out to my wife for getting me this for Christmas. Big Mac Miller fan here. Be on the lookout for my Balloonerism review later this week. I just wanted to say happy birthday to Mac Miller, R.I.P. We embrace you, brother. You was one of us and we knew it. And, you know, I hope you up there in heaven enjoying yourself. I hope you have found peace. I hope you in heaven smiling down on us, Mac. We love you. We appreciate you, man. We knew you was one of us, dog. And I hate to use your birthday to compare you to a lame like Post Malone, but I want people in the culture to understand the difference, to understand why we embrace you and why we reject others. We saw you. We felt you. We love you. And I'm pretty sure I speak from everybody within the culture. There's not very many people that have said negative things about Mac Miller. You could rap. You got introspective, you were deep, you have an amazing voice, and you contributed to this hip-hop thing. You embraced hip-hop. You pushed the genre forward, and you didn't push the genre away. Mac, we love you. Peace.